So Nintendo might actually make a successor to the 3DS. Yes, this. This is my new Nintendo 3DS that temporarily came out in the US. Happy Home Designer version. Majora's Mask Collector's Edition. Like, okay, let's get right into this. So Tatsumi Kimishima responded to some questions about the 3DS and the future of the platform and what's next through the investors QA meeting. Here is what he said. He said, from a technology standpoint, home console game systems, handheld game systems, and a system like Nintendo Switch that is dedicated to a video game platform with aspects of a handheld all use different kinds of computers and memory. The required technologies differ depending on whether the emphasis is on power consumption, performance, or a balance of the two. Regarding development, we have not yet decided which direction to steer towards, but we have a variety of possibilities under consideration. The technologies that would be required for platform development include some that could take an extremely long time to develop, and we are ever evolving. So instead of narrowing down the technologies, we are widening the search. Once we have decided on the direction for the future platforms inside the company, we will quickly begin preparations to track the key technologies. Here's the takeaway from this general basis. He's talking around the question, not really explaining everything, and 3DS is heading into some uncharted territory. Because Switch is a hybrid that's portable and home console in nature and has mobile technology, I've been talking for the last year or so that it's time to kind of kill off the 3DS. Just like I tossed my 3DSs to the side, Nintendo should literally toss the 3DS system to the side and dedicate all their development into Switch, at least in my opinion. I know there's many of you out there that actually disagree. You've made your voices heard. I have heard you, and it doesn't change my mind. However, what's interesting is that Nintendo is researching multiple avenues for the future of their platforms. And what I find most interesting about this is that while he brings up 3DS, he ends it by talking about for future platforms inside the company, rather than talking about the 3DS specifically or a 3DS successor. So this could indicate that yes, Nintendo already knows they're heading with Switch in the future, and they just don't know what's coming after that. Or maybe they actually, this is going to be strange. Maybe for the entire duration of the Switch's life, they actually plan to kind of drag the 3DS along and not let go. Now, for starters, it makes sense for them not to give up on 3DS yet. It still makes up a significant portion of their balance sheet. There's no way in heck you just abandon a platform when it's still making money. At least most companies don't do that. There's a reason that PlayStation 3 still was getting games ported to it for a few years because, hey, the games are still selling. There's actually still games that come out every year that are being ported to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 and Xbox One and Xbox 360 because they're still selling on those little platforms. There's people that haven't let go. We can't let go, Jack. Never let go. There's room for more than 2 people on the door. Anyways, it's just a really interesting thing to think about in terms of the future, and that Nintendo's looking at it, and how there could be something that succeeds the 3DS that isn't the Switch, and that there could be still branching off of technologies in the future. It's a very interesting talking point because I'm of mind that now that the Switch is out, now that this is out, that Nintendo doesn't really have a need to develop multiple platforms anymore. I feel like this created a solution to what many consider to maybe not have been a problem in the first place, and that is that Nintendo was supporting 2 separate platforms. And while it never really was a huge issue, it was still something to take into consideration. And now that Switch is out, I don't think Nintendo needs to keep going down that avenue. But this is Nintendo. And they're never going to completely leave a 2-system ecosystem until they feel like they've exhausted all of their options. And whatever the technologies may be, what is clear here is that if there's a successor to 3DS, we're a long ways away from it coming. Because as he said, they haven't really decided anything. And he says, once we have decided on the direction, which means they haven't decided on a direction yet, for future platforms inside the company, they're going to quickly begin preparations to track the key technologies. That tells me that they haven't even considered a sequel for 3DS at this point. Everything seems to be more focused internally on Switch. They haven't even considered what's next after Switch at this point as well. That's what I'm hearing in all of this, that they are always looking into stuff. They're researching technologies. They're ever evolving, and they haven't narrowed down exactly what they want to do next. And I feel like this is okay. One, because I feel like Switch here, I feel like this platform can last a while. They can do revisions of it, increase the power, technologies, make iterative versions of it, and I feel like they can get away with that for maybe the next decade or so. But then obviously you have to start looking towards the future and what's next. Is it another platform like 3DS? Is it a 4DS? Are we talking about virtual reality? I don't know. I honestly don't know where I want Nintendo to go next. What I do know is Nintendo isn't abandoning the 3DS this year. They might not even be abandoning it in 2019 or 2020. I think they're going to keep dragging the system along, still making, different colors, a couple special editions. And while they're not going to be putting their biggest of their big games on there, like I believe Pokemon is done on the platform, they're still going to be bringing along some more experimental titles that maybe they feel don't fit on Switch. Which is interesting because I actually think every game in the world fits on Switch. But it is what it is. Nintendo, I guess the big takeaway here is Nintendo just, maybe for the first time in a long time, doesn't know what's next for 3DS or Switch. And that's a very interesting place to be in. But you know what? For now, let's enjoy where Nintendo is today, because 3DS is still relevant, and Switch is, extremely relevant as well. And we should just hold on to what we have for now and see where Nintendo plans to take us in the future. Because whatever it ends up becoming, we all know that none of us are going to be able to guess it. Who would have thought the clamshell design was coming with a touchscreen? Who would have ever thought that motion controls were what was coming after GameCube? Who would have ever thought that Nintendo would have the gall to throw a tablet in the controller and make you use it attached to your TV? Who would have ever thought that Nintendo was doing a hybrid system? Okay, that thought was actually existing for quite a while, so maybe that was a lot better of an idea. I remember some old rumors, like before Wii U even came out, about like a hybrid system. So anyways, maybe that's not the most out there concept, but anyways, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about all this below. I'll include a link to the quotes below so you can go look at what Tatsumi Kimishima said. Maybe read up on some more news from the investors meeting Q&A. Anyways, I am Nathaniel Rufflejans from Nintendo Prime, and if you like this video, you know what to do, and if you dislike the video, hit that dislike button. Subscribe for more content, and as always, folks, I will catch you in the next one. Where did my Pokemon hat go? I got that new Pokemon hat. Honey! Honey! Where's my Pokemon hat? Where is it?